Stop right there if you are into witch shit and you like tea, because this is witch tea and we're going to talk about some witch shit while I drink some tea. You can also drink some tea. So today's witch tea is about this incredibly powerful Pisces eclipse and the idea of magic, witchcraft. Should I manifest? Should I do magic? The big questions that get asked by that spiritual witchy community. So I'm going to give you my take on it. One of the things that gets said about doing magic, doing manifestation, doing your witchy shit on the eclipses is chaos, because eclipses are known as chaotic. They are fated. We know when they're coming in. We do not know what they are bringing. This one in particular is coming with a huge punch because this is a Pisces eclipse, for one, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So it is closing out cycles. So the top reasons why, really, that spiritualists, witches, whatever you want to call yourself, often are saying don't do any witchcraft, spells, manifestations, or anything on the eclipses are because they're chaotic, they're unpredictable. They are likely to bring in what you're wishing for through chaos. And that's you basically saying, I want this thing and I don't care how you bring it in, just give it to me. The other thing about doing magic manifestations, setting intentions when it comes to eclipses is you are potentially locking yourself in to a 9 or 18-year cycle, which is the cycle of the eclipses. So if you are someone like me who understands chaos magic, who were born in fire, raised in chaos, as I say, you're someone who practices that, you're someone who understands that chaos for you is the fastest way to evolution, and that you are someone who knows how to experience overcoming the chaos and becoming stronger, then fucking go for it. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. Because honestly, as a chaos witch, I only really believe in that type of magic, in that type of witchcraft. I don't believe that there are rules that need to be followed. I don't believe in things needing to be done in a certain order. I don't believe that everybody's way of practicing should be the same or their spirituality is the same. And I think that magic and witchcraft in general is chaotic. So anything that really goes against a collective belief system is usually considered as some type of chaos. So when we live in this world where there are rules for everything, where materialism has absolutely fucked everyone's ability to tap into the power of their own consciousness, the hilarity of completely disagreeing with the idea that human consciousness creates reality is starting to be talked about more and more, but most people cannot grasp the idea of that, let alone the idea of chaos being the fastest way to evolution. So Pisces is about magic. Pisces is the illogical water sign. It has no need for rules. It exists outside of time. It exists on the bottom of the deep, dark ocean where no one can get to. And Pisces is about integration. It is about being the part of the collective energy system that cannot be held as something material, that cannot be counted, timed, or understood as something that is material. Pisces represents, in astrology, the outcome of 11 lessons. What are those lessons? Well, those lessons are the lesson of I am and I balance. So this is about your identity. So the lesson of identity, learning how to balance your I am with your you are, learning how to understand yourself, understand what freedom means, understand what independence means, while at the same time balancing that with other people, with relationships, and with the idea of codependency. Lesson 1 and 2. Lesson 3 and 4, the lessons of I have and I empower, the lessons of possession, things we possess. I possess resources. I possess survival, security, surface level possessions, plus also the empowering possessions of your power, your depth of emotion, your transformation. So, through our resources and our idea of possession, we have to balance the external with the internal of things that we possess. Lessons 2 and 3. Lessons 3 and 4 are the I perceive, I understand lessons. How do we deal with information, communication, and curiosity? And how do we find meaning in that for ourselves? The next lessons are the lessons of I feel and I build. This is about security lessons in security, right? Mothering yourself, nurturing yourself and others, and balancing that with your own achievements, with responsibility, with protecting things, with the outer security, right? I feel inner security and I build outer security. The other lessons are the I create and the I know lessons. Okay, 9 and 10. These lessons are about the ego. They are about the expression of yourself and being visible with the understanding of how that contributes to the collective and humanitarian ideals. The next lessons is lesson number 11 and somewhat 12, which is where Pisces comes in. That is the I analyze and I believe. So, from all of those lessons, I analyze what part of my physical world, what part of my physical being do I need to be certain of so that I can be of service and I can help heal? And the I analyze is the service healing, and the I believe is the mysticism and the spiritual, which is where we get Pisces. That's where it sits, number 12. So we start on this journey of figuring out who the fuck we are, how that balances with other people. Then we have to figure out what the idea of having possessions means outside of just having material possessions. Then we have to learn how to collect information, but also how to gain wisdom from it. Then we have to learn how to build ourself inner security emotionally and build ourselves outer security through responsibility and achievements. Then we have to look at our ego and make sure that we are allowing it to be visible while also not allowing it to overshadow the collective and humanitarian ideals. And then we analyze the whole fucking lot. And then once we've analyzed it, and once we have provided ourselves with the service of healing anything that needs to be healed, we integrate the lessons, Pisces. So, being the 12th zodiac, Pisces is the 12th house, the house of subconscious, things that can't be explained, things that can't be seen, things that have to be fucking felt. Pisces emotions have to be felt to be released. You cannot repress them. That will not work. So, Pisces is about the journey to uncovering your intuition through balancing your nervous system, through understanding your filters, because a faulty alert system cannot be trusted. And that is what happens when you do not have a balanced nervous system and you do not have self awareness. So, the Pisces journey of those lessons is to uncover the filters so you can turn off the faulty alert system, because that is where your intuition sits. That is where you can start trusting yourself, because the reactions you are having are authentic to your energy, not to emotional triggers from traumas from the past. Pisces. Okay. So, when we talk about spells and magic and witch shit and the idea of practicing it on the Pisces eclipse, what you are actually agreeing to is to be ready and as ready as you can be, really, to go into the deep, dark bottom of the ocean of emotions, of traumas, of ancestral and generational karma, and be ready to go in there. And that is even more intensified this time around with this Pisces eclipse, because the daddy of the hard shit that you have to learn is at 29 degrees of Pisces, which is the critical degree. And that means it's the degree of completion, of mastery. And with that comes this sense of urgency, comes a potential crisis, because we are leaving something behind in order to embark on a new thing, 29th degree. However, we hit this 29th degree with Mr. Daddy of the hard shit we have to learn. And we are not embarking on the new journey yet because Big Daddy Saturn, teaching us the hard shit, is retrograde, is going backwards, is sending us backwards first because this whole entire eclipse bullshit is ruled over by Virgo, and that is in the South Node. So we are seeing the way forward through lessons of the past. And the daddy of the hard shit that we have to learn, he is currently going backwards to show us what we might have missed. So we are going back through these final moments of urgency. We are going back through crises we've already experienced. So, when we are thinking of doing magic with this Pisces eclipse, I want you to think about some things. I want you to think about the dates May 13th until May 24th this year. That was the last time that Big Daddy Saturn was at 29 degrees of Pisces. What came up for you? What should you have left behind? What did you leave behind? What was your crisis? What was urgent for you around that time? Because this retrograde that we have just entered from the 1st of September until November 28th, we are experiencing 25 to 29 degrees of Saturn in Pisces for the final time in 30 years. So, whatever the fuck you want to take from that period of time, whatever lessons you need to learn, you need to have learned them, or you're not going to get an option to have this energy for another 30 years. So, we're looking at the time period really from February this year until May this year. That is what we are tracking back through with this Pisces retrograde. But this 29th degree that is around with this eclipse, that is what we need to focus on. So, May 13th till May 24th, that is what we are looking back at. So, what this eclipse is representing is our inner authority from the integrations of wounds of the past. It is the true meaning of freedom to be able to be free to react to situations, to emotional things in your life from a purely authentic space, not from something you programmed from a trauma from the past. So, because the ruler of Pisces is Neptune and Neptune is in Aries, what and how we think and imagine things is important. Because at the other end of the seesaw and the ending of this eclipse is, is the Virgo eclipse. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is in Virgo. So we are in the physical and we are in the spiritual. So from taking responsibility for time, effort, we can take what would normally just exist in our mind, just in our dreams, in our imagination. We can take that and we can turn it into reality by committing to the habits in the physical that we need to bring it into consciousness. So let me go through that again with a little diagram. Okay. So Saturn is in Pisces, the North Node is in Pisces, the Moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is the mystical and the spiritual. Now, at the other end of that axis, we have the Sun in Virgo and we have the South Node in Virgo. Now, Virgo is the physical things, it's the reality, it's the habits, the discernment, the analytical nature of being able to figure out how to get shit done in the real world. Okay. So, the planetary ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is in the head right now. So, dreams, imagination, there is somewhat of a logical basis to it because it's being ruled by Aries. Now, Virgo, the physical and the reality, is looking after Mercury. And Mercury is our mindset and communication and logic. And Virgo is the habits, the digestion, and the discernment. So we have this ability to access both sides of this right now. And we have this ability to bring something to ground into the physical and reality that has only been in the mystical and the spiritual. So Neptune and Saturn started some new things, right? They started this year, they moved into Aries. So we have had a little bit of a practice run of building these new things. From March 30th, we were dreaming the new thing. And from May 24th, we started building the new thing, giving it boundaries, understanding how long it was going to take, understanding how much effort may have had to go into it. Then Big Daddy Saturn, ruler of time, of karma, of the hard shit that we need to learn, said, hold up a sec. You might have been building some of that dream from thoughts and ideas that could have potentially been covered in a whole lot of shit from the past. So let's just go back and do a little quick review. So he put us on pause. He put the new thing on pause and he sent us back to review, to reanalyze. So this entire eclipse is actually being ruled by Virgo because let me show you. The ruler of Pisces is Neptune. Where is Neptune? Neptune is in Aries. The ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars is in Libra. And the ruler of Libra is Venus. Venus is in Leo. So that's being ruled over by the sun. Whereas the sun is in Virgo. And the ruler of Virgo is Mercury. And Mercury is in Virgo. So around and around we go. So this ability that we have with Pisces in the emotional space of the moon, with Saturn grounding some stuff, sending us backwards, making us look at some things before we go towards the North Node in Pisces, we have access to this ability to bring something to ground because the whole ruler of this entire spiritual situation is Virgo, the physical. So, with this moon, what you need to be thinking about is letting go of what you were being shown from the Saturn and Pisces retrograde dates. So, what was the problem? What was the problem between May 13th and May 24th? What was the crisis? What was the critical thinking while Pisces was 29 degrees looking after Saturn? What has arisen again from that time since the 1st of September? And I know that hasn't been a very long time. So, we are letting go of the problems May 13th to May 24th, and we are calling in what you were being shown by Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So from May 24th until July 12th, and from March 30th until July 4th, right? So from March 30th until July 4th, what were you dreaming and wanting to bring into reality, and what did you start bringing into reality? What problems did you find there that have maybe recently arisen in a completely different light, or maybe even in the same light? We're letting go. We're calling in. So this will be a feel it and let it go. This will be an intuition led calling in. So, how does that resonate with you? What do we need to feel and let go of? What do I need to open my intuitive side to call in? How does that resonate with you? You can use your birth chart to give you some hints. Look at where your Pisces is, look at where your Aries is, look at where your Virgo is. How do they talk to each other? What houses are they in? Where are you best calling this in? Okay? Are you ready for that to come in chaotically and unexpectedly? Are you open to receive whatever that is that the universe needs to give you in order to have it come in? Do you trust? I'm going to pause there. Do you trust? Because sometimes what the universe needs to teach us comes in ways we don't want to see. That is why it is important to be ready for that if you want to fuck around with manifestations at the eclipse. So if you are not trusting, if you are not ready to see, if you are not open to being taught something through a filter you don't want to see, don't fucking bother manifesting with this eclipse. Okay. For those of you that are ready, for those of you that won't be drowned in the chaos, may the blessed journey of chaos guide you toward your goal. And if you need some help knowing where to pinpoint using this chaos magic, book a little energy reading with me. We'll get your chart out and I will show you exactly where you have the power to bring change through chaos. So Thanks for joining me for Witch Tea. Stay weird.
If you got